Hey, what's up guys, Jack here with MTS, and by now you've probably seen my video, What the Heck is Ubiquiti Doing? Now in that video we talked about Ubiquiti removing multi-site from the Cloudkey as well as requiring an active internet connection and single sign-on at the time of setup. Now they've gone back and made changes and they've brought multi-site back to the Cloudkeys. Well, it's in the new version of Unify Controller, so we have to wait for that to come to the Cloudkey again. But that wasn't really the problem that I had. The problem that I had was with the requirement of the active internet connection and the requirement to use single sign-on. Now, if your issue was simply with multi-site, then yes, Ubiquiti has fixed the problem, or they're working on fixing the problem. We just have to wait for Unify Controller version 6.0.45, I believe, to come to the Cloudkeys. Don't quote me on that. But I want them to do away with the active internet connection requirement and make it optional to use single sign-on again. How do I think that they can do that? Well, here's my idea. My idea is Unify OS is what they're currently running on the Dream machines and what the Cloudkey Gen 2 Plus runs. The regular Cloudkey Gen 2 also runs it, but it's a watered down version. Unify OS has their network controller, it has Protect, Access, and Talk on it. I would like to see Unify OS do away with the requirement of an internet connection and single sign-on, but that's probably not going to happen. That would be in an ideal world, Ubiquiti would go back and just be like, no single sign-on requirement, no active internet connection. That is my golden case scenario. Now the UDMs I can see pretty much only running Unify OS. So you plug in your UDM, it boots into Unify OS, and then you get into your setup. With the Cloudkey Gen 2 Plus, I see it being a little bit more complicated. Controller OS is essentially what I'm going to call what Ubiquiti's currently doing for their software controller and what the Cloudkeys were running before they got Unify OS. So I see with the Cloudkey having the option to use Unify OS or Controller OS. Now if you went with Unify OS, you would have Access and Talk, but if you went with Controller OS, you would just have Network and Protect. And then once you've selected which operating system you wanted it to run, it would then boot into the setup. So for at least the Cloudkeys, you don't have to have the active internet connection. Because I can get all the same features of the UDM Pro, but with the Cloudkey, it's more expensive to do it that way, but I can get all the same features of the UDM without needing Unify OS, really. So at least having an option for the Cloudkey would be great. And then for the software controller that you just run and host yourself, that one would just be Controller OS. It would just run Unified Network. So that's the solution I see. Let me know your thoughts on that. I don't think they're going to do this, but I really hope they do. And what I really hope, if all my prayers are answered, they just ditch the requirement for single sign-on and an active internet connection at the time of setup on Unify OS altogether. That would be my golden case scenario. So let me know what you guys think down in the comments below, and I will see you in the next one.